Good evening, gardeners. This is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Behind me, growing on this cattle panel, is a plant called Lauki. I'm going to tell you some more about this amazing bottle gourd today. But before I start telling you, why don't you grab your wellies? Meet me in the garden. Welcome back, gardeners. This bucket is not even a wicking tub, it's just a big tub. I put 2 Lauki plants in here at the end of the spring, much like I would squash. Planted zucchini at the same time, and these things just kind of took off. Now some of these leaves are starting to yellow a little bit now, and it looks a little worse for wear, but then it'll shoot off some new leaves, and now it's worked its way over here, and have another panel growing over here with a lot of new growth on it. As you can see, I'll get in close, there are some more flowers coming, and there's also a really big gourd on here that I'm actually going to let it grow a little bigger so that I can save seeds from that one. Now, I had problems in the garden, not so much with squash bugs this year, but the squash vine borer took out my zucchini. This has been a nemesis bug for me. I hate the squash vine borer. There's lots of suggestions on things to do for that bug, but honestly, the best way I've found to deal with it is just keep on planting succession of whatever crop you're doing. Squash, zucchini, those are definitely its favorite. But if you keep planting, eventually you'll get past the season for those insects, and you may get some squash toward the end of the year. This year, however, I've really enjoyed this Lauki, but to be honest with you, I didn't get much fruit until quite a bit later in the season, and I'm going to tell you the story behind that here in just a moment. So this is my daughter-in-law's Lauki. She grew this from a start plant, and hers has done really well. Now, she didn't grow hers in a tub, she grew it in a raised bed. She used rabbit poop from their pet rabbit to grow this. As you can see, it really took off. It's over the fence. It's a very healthy looking plant. Now, Anna, after talking to a neighbor, discovered that she needed to go out in the evening time and hand pollinate, because these flowers open up in the evening time, dusk, and there's really no night pollinators here in Arkansas, at least not a significant number to count. So you'll get a few fruits developing here and there, but in order to get a lot, you have to hand pollinate. Once you do that, as you can see, you get a lot of fruit. The flowers are very pretty. Here's one in the late evening starting to open, and it's a male flower, so I'm going to show you some hand pollinating techniques as well here in a moment, identifying males and females. So let's get into that. Alright guys, so here is the male flower, and I'm going to come back in just a little while when this flower opens a little bit more, and I'll show you how I hand pollinate. We're going to take this flower and we're going to pollinate this female flower. See the baby Lauki underneath, and see if we can get a successful pollination there. Alright guys, so here's our female flower. Petals are opened up more. What I like to do at this point, I just take the male flower and I'm just going to gently touch this. Just rotate and just gently try and touch all the parts of the flower here so that we get the pollen to come off, and that should be good right there. So I'm going to just pull these petals back, and in the coming days we'll check and see if this one pollination, if it took So we'll check that here in a few days. And that's what I've done with each of these flowers when I pollinate them. Usually you want to come out in the evening time. These are not going to open up during the day, so bees are not much help to you. I have had a few get pollinated, but honestly I don't know what pollinated them, because it would have been something in the evening or nighttime. So I recommend hand pollination just to get a good supply of Lauki. That may be the only downside, is they're a little bit higher maintenance on making sure that fruit develops, but there are lots of benefits with this plant, so I like it. I'm going to grow it again next year. Now here's a Lauki that I pollinated. This one's probably just about 3 days ago or so. They grow really quick. So you can tell very quickly that the pollination was successful as they grow. And even with the huge gourd that I'm going to gather seeds from growing, they're still putting out female flowers. And usually when at this time of year I'm finding female flowers, I'm pretty much always finding a male flower I can use to pollinate with, which is kind of cool.